Amy Klobuchar drops out of the Biden VP contention and says she should choose a woman of color.
I have a theory on this.
All right.
Here's what I think. I think Amy Klobuchar wanted this more than fucking anything, outside of being president, of course. And the Biden campaign looked into her and then decided, like, nah, we're not going to pick you. And so she's taking the high road by saying, well, he should pick a woman of color, which is basically, I mean, like, he said he would do that anyway. That just seems like her saving face after getting denied this huge opportunity.
So you think that she already knows that she's not going to be picked, and for that reason she's just trying to like capitalize on that and be like, look at me, I'm virtue signaling, I'm a good fucking person, look how great I am.
Yeah, because we know that a lot of these like moderate Democrat candidates are, you know, they're tied together. The party covers them heavily. There's like special favors behind the scenes, and like this is just one out of many instances of that, I think.
So, joking aside about the fact that it could be Elizabeth Warren, you know, well, let's talk about where everyone's mind wandered when they fucking saw this. I think everybody's mind went to fucking Kamala Harris, which is kind of funny to me because she's the one who went the hardest after fucking Biden.
Yeah, she implied that he was like a pro-segregation, like white supremacist on stage on national TV.
Are they seriously like considering picking? Because like, who else could it be? I mean, I guess they could just pick some random fucking person, but like, I didn't tweet out that picture. I just made the comment that she resembled Cruella DeVille because I didn't think to even Photoshop it at all. But well, when I said that, someone was like, "What? Because she's a white woman? Just because she's a white woman, you're making this comparison?" It's like, no, there's a lot more comparisons. She's a white fucking old bitch. Like, there's a lot more that you can say about.
Okay, I for one make that comparison because I know for a fact that she has a bunch of dead puppies in her basement. I've seen them.
She does, dude. Look at those eyebrows, yo. Look at her face, dude. She looks exactly like Cruella DeVille. Like anyone saying she doesn't. The only thing that's missing is like the white half of her hair. And like the green eyeshadow. Everything else. No, she almost does look like she has green eyes, dude.
Science is on my side. And I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard.
Before I heard the hair in a blizzard thing, I legit thought that was Kamala Harris, because that goes to show how much personality these fucking women have, which is to say none at all. They're like interchangeable fucking palette swaps, like on the fucking Smash Brothers select screen. Like, we have green Mario, and now we have blue fucking Mario. That's what we're fucking getting here.
Don't compare them to Mario, okay? They're not Mario. You know what character they are. Wii Fit Trainer, dude.
Dude, you can't spell vagina without V.
Yeah, dude. So is there anything else on this?
No, fuck this article.
But we should probably talk about that Kamala thing I brought up real fast, so I can like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm probably gonna include this in a clip together. So I just wanted to bring this up to like you know, kind of point something out. And I double checked this. Like, I went to multiple websites and made sure that this was fucking true. But there's a popular Facebook meme going on right now, where apparently Kamala Harris. So allegedly said Democrats are coming for Trump supporters in the White House in 2020. And when I heard this, I was like, that sounds a little bit too, I don't know, that sounds a little bit too, like, transparently evil for the fucking Democrats to actually come out and, like, let Kamala Harris fucking say that crazy shit. And I looked into the quote, and nonetheless, it's not fucking true at all. I've seen so many people going out.
So this is like a boomer meme being spread on Facebook with no citation at all.
There's a lot of shit that goes on Facebook that just people believe completely unsighted, like, without any information at all. And if you take, like, actually 5 seconds to go and look this up on the internet, then you'll find that, yeah, this quote was completely fucking bullshit. Now, look, I don't like fucking Kamala Harris. We just expressed for, like, literally, like, minutes and minutes on end, like, why I think Kamala Harris is a fucking shitbag and shouldn't be anywhere near the fucking vice presidency or the presidency. But I'm not in favor of making up stupid fucking quotes and just outright believing information that's presented to you. If you see something this, like, fucking crazy that seems almost too fucking crazy to be true, then you should definitely look into it and check the sources, because I've checked multiple fucking sources on this, and I can't even.
I mean, you should do that with like any claim when it comes to politics at all.
Exactly.
Like, even if it's something ostensibly minor, like, just look into it and verify it if you can.
We're 3 fucking stoners on the internet, so if people take what we say at face value and like just believe what we fucking say, then that's part of the reason why I like to have these like articles up in the background, because at least like I try to find semi-credible websites. But here's the thing too, right? There's no such thing as an entirely fucking safe source. Every website that you're going on is trying to give you a fucking certain opinion, or skew you in a certain way, or make you think like a certain way. Everybody has their own political stance. Even we on this fucking show, even though I try to be unbiased and, you know, call out people all across the political spectrum. I still have my political biases too. The difference is being able to admit that and kind of admit that, yeah, there's shitbags all across the political spectrum. Like, that's kind of the point of everything I'm trying to say in regarding politics, is I wish people would look at that more.
But they won't.
Of course they won't. Of course people won't, because people would rather be, willfully ignorant and just believe what they want to believe, because, like, if they see something negative about someone that they don't like, of course they want to believe it's true. And that's just fucking human nature at the end of the day, but I do think it is something that we should try and move past as a society. And I don't fault anybody who engages in it necessarily, but because, like, people, to a large extent, I think that people are victims of the societary complex and how things are run and all the political, like, manipulation going on in this country. Like, people are being manipulated. It's not necessarily their fucking fault, but I do need to come out and, like, speak against that type of shit, because, like, it's just so fucking common. It's really fucking common. Not just against fucking Democrats, but people do it against fucking Trump all the time too. Like, let's call out, these politicians for the actual shitty things they do. Let's not make up bullshit about them, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and something else that I'm kind of sick of, as a quick aside, is like when you bring up something bad that a politician does, and somebody who supports that person is like, yeah, well, their opposition has done this. I'm like, I don't fucking care. That doesn't, that doesn't validate the shitty shit they do.
Exactly.
I feel like the only reason people bring that up, though, at least in context, in terms of this election, is because it's like, well, if you're not, because a lot of people view it as, if you're not voting for Trump, you're voting for Biden. If you're not voting for Biden, you're voting for Trump. So it's, and
that's the ultimate tool in the toolkit of the two-party system for keeping us in line and keeping us voting the way that we are. If more people decided that wasn't the case, but look how not only that, look how fucking terrible people are to people who even dare think about the idea of casting their vote for a third party. So much fucking spite, vitriol, and hatred if you're not gonna vote for either Republicans or Democrats. Some people hate people who vote for third parties even more than they hate the exact fucking opposite party that they're supposedly voting for against. Because let's be honest, people don't vote for a political party in this country anymore. They vote against the other political party that they hate more.
These politicians aren't trying to win over people's votes. They're not trying to say, hey, here's why you should vote for me. Here's what I'm going to do for you. They're trying to say, hey, here's how I'm not like my opponent. Here's how I'm better than my opponent. Yep. And it's detrimental. And it honestly, I think the politicians love it. They love it this way because there can be this way. There's no change. They can just sit and pretend that they're making progress when they're not, and they can act like it's the other side is to blame for everything. When honestly, both sides are on the same fucking team. The Republicans and the Democrats are on the same fucking team. I'm sorry. Wake up, America. If you fucking think that there's two factions in this country, and that those factions are Republican and Democrat, you are fucking woefully mistaken, ignorant, and asleep.
It's funny too, because both of these parties pretend to represent like the common man. Like Republicans are like, we just, this is about freedom and patriotism, and doesn't that mean something to you? And half of the people are like, yeah, it does, and the other half is just kind of like, okay, well, what about equality? What about like a social safety net? It's like, well, you've failed to deliver on that, but yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But behind the scenes, it just seems like the rich keep on getting richer, the poor get poorer, and the middle class just get continuously fucked on. They're basically worker ants being taken advantage of.
Yep.
And unless you break down this two-party system and break out of this dichotomy you have, where like you lose either way, again, it's like the analogy fucking South Park made, where it's like a douchebag or a turd sandwich. Either way, you get fucked. I think they're just too adept at dividing the populace, because that's how they win.
That's the reason why it's the case, and that's the reason why it's getting worse, because there's been generations upon generations now of people who have been dealing with this type of political corruption and manipulation. It's always been there to some fucking extent. Like, no government in fucking human history has ever been completely fucking clean and perfect, but like we're starting to get to where times are more divided than ever. The political polarization in this country right now is worse than it's ever been, and that's bad for all of us, because at the end of the day, all it is like a bunch of fucking greedy fucking billionaires from not even on the fucking political spectrum, because a lot of these fucking politicians, they don't give a fuck about politics. Politics is a tool that is used in this country to control the fucking regular people and the populace. It's a big fucking distraction to keep us fucking busy and arguing and bickering amongst each other, while fucking these billionaires get away with fucking stealing from the American people every single fucking day in this country, non-stop.
Yep.
But we're too busy fighting each other to do anything about it.
Yeah, never mind the fact that the government is supposed to be like an institution that we all financially support, that's supposed to like protect and provide for us in our time of need. But then as soon as election time comes, it's like, oh yeah, here's a section of the populace that we're gonna demonize. Ooh, Mexicans, Democrats, Republicans. No, these are human fucking beings. Their values may differ on a general basis, but they're still people. They're still your fucking neighbors and family. Shouldn't that mean something more to you than whatever, whether or not they have an R or a D next to their name, or whether or not they're from America?
Well,
their humanity should be the fucking primary focus, and it's not. It's
Right.
not. Neither of these two parties support that idea at all. This is how they win. They divide the populace. They turn us against each other and use our fucking antagonism
Exactly.
to lure us into voting booths.
Well, that's my point though, because they try to make us think like, oh, like, you know, oh, the Republican, like here's how the picture they try to paint. Like, America is divided into, you know, there's the Republican people and there's the Republican politicians, and then on the other side there's the Democratic people and the Democratic politicians. It's not like that. It's not. Here's that we are on the same side. The voters, the Democrats and Republicans, that's what they're trying to make us not realize. They're trying to divide us and make us think we're on different teams. We are not on different teams. We're on the same team. The fucking racist redneck fucking asshole that lives down the street from you that you hate, he might be an asshole and he might not realize it, but he's on the same team as you are. We are on the same team, okay? The American people, the public, the working class. And until we start acting that way, there's not going to be any change. We need to start saying fuck you to the politicians. You're not going to divide us. You're not going to control us. You're not going to tell us who we hate and who we can. Like, think of how much division they fucking sow in families, in communities. It's fucking ridiculous. And we buy it. We fucking just go along with it. I'm sick of it.
And it's not going to change if you have this antagonistic approach where, like, you're going to shame people who vote for a third party. They're not bad people. They're just fucking sick and tired of this circus we've been seeing going on for since the inception. Since the fucking beginning of the government.
No one should be shaming anyone for their votes. I'm so sick of that. Everyone's vote is their own. You are entitled to vote for who you want to vote for. You brought up that South Park episode. The fact that, like, everyone in that episode is just acting like, you must vote, you have to vote. That's what our society is doing. That's what they have been doing, and I feel like it's been getting worse. And we have this mentality of, you must vote. And it's not just you must vote, but you must vote for who we say you must vote for. And if you're not, then you're going to be looked down on. No, that's not the way it needs to be. Your vote is your own. You vote. Like, if you don't believe in any of the candidates, then why should you vote for any of them? Why does anyone deserve? No one is entitled to your the little bit of power that working people get in this fucking country, and they tell you who you have to give it to.
That's the fucking terrible thing, is that they've got the American people doing their fucking heavy lifting for them.
Absolutely.
It's the American people that are coming out and, like, saying, no, you can't vote. You can only vote for, like, one of these two fucking parties.
See,
like, there's so many people who believe that it's a wasted vote if you try and vote for a third party. But in reality, a wasted vote is a vote for these two fucking parties, which are going to maintain power no matter what. And, you know, as much as people like to make it out like there's going to be a difference, there's not much of a fucking difference in whichever political party is in charge of this fucking country. No fucking way. Nothing changes either way. The rich get fucking richer, and the Republicans and Democrats don't give a fuck about anybody except for them fucking selves and making themselves richer.
I mean, like, the leading candidate of the Democratic Party said so himself. Like, under my administration, nothing would fundamentally change.
Yep.
Nothing. Not a fucking thing. I mean, like, I get the harm reduction argument. I get it. And I've listened to people make that point. It doesn't fucking feel good. It fucking hurts seeing society go down this path. And it just keeps happening over and over again, every election cycle. Like, at what point are we going to even acknowledge the fact that we're getting fucked? That's it. That's how they win. That's how they fucking keep us complacent. They divide us. Exactly. And it's never going to stop until you have at least, like, the possibility, the prospect of a third party winning, or even competing with the two major parties, which, frankly, I don't think is ever going to happen. I wish it would, but I just don't see it happening.
You know what's ironic? One of the most divisive things that I heard in the year 2016. He will not divide us. He will not divide. Like, what the fuck, dude? Do you remember that? Do you remember when he actually fucking went out and said that? Fucking Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf went out and said that dumb fucking shit, dude. That was, dude, that was one of the most divisive things I've ever fucking heard, dude. Like, seriously,
he's like literally screaming into somebody's ear, doing damage to this other person who just like. It's funny too, because I mean, like, all you're doing by having this like pretentious event, which is what it was, is fueling the bias that's like on the opposite end of the political aisle.
People always point to the extremists of the sides that they don't like, and they say that that's the entire. They try and paint that as the entire color of everybody who disagrees with them. Oh, well, you know, look at this really fucking extremist person who's left wing, or look at this really extremist person who's right wing. This is all left and right wingers. Bull fucking shit. Judge them as individuals. You can judge groups as long as, like, you know, you're judging them on things that they actually aspire as a group. But even then, you should look at people individually and say, okay, just because like left-wing people are typically associated with thinking this way, doesn't mean that I should associate every single left-wing person with this idea.
You guys have heard the theory, right? That Joe Biden is probably not going to serve a full term, and that he's probably going to drop out, step aside at some point.
For Hillary.
Whoever his VP is.
You want like a hot take that I've never heard anyone say before? Okay, so here's the thing. Presidential candidates should always 100% of the time have to pick their VP before they get voted on in any fucking primary.
Because now we have this bullshit of, oh, you're gonna drop out and be my VP? Fuck that. I'm sorry, you either run in the election as a presidential candidate or as a VP. You don't get to do both.
Nah.
That was perfect. Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a Family Guy cutaway gag.
It is.
Dude, that's all 20.
Dude, this could be a Family Guy episode. I'm not joking. I could see this happening on an episode of fucking Family Guy.